여러분 반갑습니다. I'm Kwon So-hwa and this is K-Culture Dive. Join us in taking a deep dive into the heart of Korean culture, from K-entertainment to AI news, on-field reports, and K-sports updates. And with that, let's dive in. Joining us on today's show is Bella Kim. Hello, Bella.
Hi, Soa, and hello to our K-Culture Dive viewers. I'm Bella Kim, back again to co-host and fill you guys all in with the latest in K-entertainment.
All right, let's kick off with K-entertainment news, Bella. Now, we've been covering the Grammys' new category. It's been a controversial issue these days. We had the BTS's response regarding that. We talked about it with our K-pop experts as well, but I hear there are more updates.
Right. The BTS boycott of the Grammys has prompted the Recording Academy to reconsider the new category, Best Asian Pop Music Performance. The category is set to be introduced at next year's Grammy Awards, recognizing popular music from across Asia. However, some have raised concerns that creating a separate category for Asian music could push artists further away from the Grammys' major categories. The controversy grew even bigger after BTS announced last month that the group would not submit their songs for consideration. The group said they hope their music will be heard and loved for what it is, rather than being divided by region or language. The Recording Academy initially defended the new category, saying it is intended to highlight the diversity and growth of Asian music, not exclude artists from major categories. However, after BTS's decision drew further criticism, CEO Harvey Mason Jr. said the Academy is open to reconsidering the new category, acknowledging artists' concerns. In the past, BTS have received 5 Grammy nominations but have yet to win, with their latest album Arirang also being considered a potential nomination in the major categories. All eyes are now on whether the controversy will lead to changes in the Grammys.
Well, it really shows how big of a power BTS has, not only in the world of K-pop, but also in the world of music generally.
For sure.
And also, I mean, I just recently saw how in the US, more than 40% of Americans are aware of no BTS.
Right, I saw that as well, yes.
So yes, let's see if there are going to be any changes. So keep us updated on that issue, Bella.
Will do.
And speaking of keeping an eye on things, we said we'd keep an eye on whether Stray Kids will top the Billboard charts again. So what do we have?
Well, they did. Stray Kids have once again topped the Billboard 200 with their new mini album, This and That. Billboard announced that the album debuted at #1 on the charts, giving Stray Kids their 9th Billboard 200 #1. The group first reached the top of the chart in 2022 with Ordinary and have since topped the charts with 8 consecutive albums. And with this latest achievement, the Stray Kids have extended their record for the most Billboard 200 #1 albums by a K-pop act. Billboard also noted that Stray Kids now have the joint second most #1 albums of any group in the chart's history. They are tied with the Rolling Stones and just behind the Beatles. This and That has seen about 357,000 album sales, marking Stray Kids' biggest single-week album sales figure to date. And with their 9th Billboard 200 #1, Stray Kids are strengthening their position as one of the biggest K-pop acts in the U.S. market.
Well, with This and That, I'm sure we're going to see even more achievements.
Oh, yes.
And Bella, we're going to end with a new Korean film that won at an international film festival.
Right. Korean director Hong Sang-soo's latest film, Nowhere to Lay My Eyes, or 눈 돌 데가 없네 in Korean, has won 3 awards at the 79th Locarno Film Festival in Switzerland. The film won the Best Director Award for Hong Sang-soo, the Best Performance Award for actress Kim Min-hee, and the Ecumenical Jury Prize as well. And this marks Kim Min-hee's second win at Locarno after winning the same award in 2024 with By the Stream, Soo-yu-chun. The Ecumenical Jury Prize honors films that explore human life and dignity, social values, peace and human rights, or spiritual themes. Nowhere to Lay My Eyes follows Han-hee, who travels to Jeju Island in search of her mother, whom she last saw 10 years ago. The film also stars Kwon Haenyeo, Shin Seok-ho, Bang Mi-so, and Choi Myung-gil. Nowhere to Lay My Eyes is scheduled to be released in Korea in the second half of this year.
Well, director Hong's films always seem to be shining abroad, but I'm also really looking forward to the domestic release. So thank you for those updates, Bella.
Yes, I'll stick around.
All right, now time to go over to our AI anchor Arang for more on the culture front. Arang.
Thanks, Swa. Here's your AI guide to the latest cultural headlines from Korea. Let's begin with our top story. Pope Leo XIV's first visit to South Korea is now just a year away, with the 2027 World Youth Day set to be held in Korea next August. An event was held in downtown Seoul over the weekend to bring the church closer to the public ahead of the major Catholic gathering. World Youth Day brings together the Pope and young Catholics from around the world, and next year's event is expected to draw up to 1 million people. Gwanghwamun Square, where Pope Francis held an event honoring Korean martyrs during his 2014 visit, is being considered as a possible venue for a welcome ceremony for Pope Leo XIV. Autumn nights at Seoul's royal palaces will come alive next month with special nighttime events at Gyeongbokgung and Changdeokgung palaces. The Changdeokgung Moonlight Tour, running from September 10 to October 17th, lets visitors explore the palace after dark with a professional guide, taking in Injeongjeon Hall, Hyejeongdang Hall and Nakseonje, while enjoying traditional performances. Applications open Thursday through Ticket Link. Meanwhile, Gyeongbokgung Palace will open its gates after dark from September 2nd to October 2nd. Visitors can freely explore major sites including Kunjeongjeon Hall, Gyeonghwaedo Pavilion and Sajeongjeon Hall, with traditional court music and dance performances also on the program. Nighttime admission tickets go on sale through Knoll Tickets next Wednesday. Seoul is expanding its Youth Culture Pass, which subsidizes performing arts tickets for young people. Starting Thursday, the program will cover 100,000 won per ticket for those aged 21 to 24, up from 70,000 won for those aged 21 to 23. Launched in 2023 as Korea's first youth culture support program of its kind, the pass provides up to 200,000 won per person annually for performing arts tickets. The city says the expansion will give more young people access to diverse art forms while helping boost the performing arts industry. That's all from me. Turning now to a quick look at more K-culture stories making headlines today.
For generations, Jeju's Haenyeo, female divers who free dive into the sea to harvest seafood, have braved the waters on a single breath, passing down not only a unique way of life, but a powerful legacy of resilience, community, and care for the ocean, a living part of Korea's cultural heritage. Our culture correspondent Hong Se-jung files this report.
A joyful song drifts across the seaside. The voices belong to the Haenyeo, Jeju Island's renowned female divers and bearers of its intangible cultural heritage. They plunge into the sea to harvest seafood, but unlike most divers, they don't use oxygen tanks. Recognized for their unique traditions and way of life, the Haenyeo were designated as a UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage in 2016. Haenyeo-run restaurants serving fresh seafood harvested by the divers also offer visitors an authentic taste of Jeju's unique culture. The freshness of the seafood and the Haenyeo's traditional culinary touch have also won over foreign visitors. Haenyeo culture holds significance not only as an intangible cultural heritage, but also as a unique cultural attraction for foreign visitors to Jeju. But as marine pollution continues to harm marine life, the number of Haenyeo is gradually declining.
The waters are polluted, so there isn't much to harvest anymore. For this tradition to continue, there needs to be enough marine life in the sea for the Haenyeo to keep doing what we do.
In order to honor and contribute to preservation of Haenyeo culture, the Haenyeo Museum on Jeju Island provides guided programs to explain its history and traditions.
We didn't really know about the history of the Haenyeo, how they forged their own paths, or much about their lives and culture. I hope more opportunities will be created for people to learn about and understand their culture.
Foreign tourists also showed an interest in Haenyeo culture.
First time listen Haenyeo culture and history. Oh, Haenyeo very hot.
Haenyeo divers today have very diverse backgrounds, from environmental activists and influencer Haenyeo to foreigner Haenyeo.
I hope there will be Haenyeo in the next generation who can continue diving together, and I hope we can have clean and safe seas. I want to help protect the ocean and together with my fellow Haenyeo, carry on the Haenyeo culture.
The Haenyeo culture has lasted this long through the dedication of its members. Now younger Haenyeo are showing the same dedication to keep the culture alive. 홍서정, 아리랑 뉴스, 제주.
This little berry packs a surprising range of flavors. The skin is tangy, the flesh sweet, and the seeds slightly bitter and peppery. Eat it whole, and you may even catch a subtle salty note. 5 flavors in a single berry. Its name is Omija, literally meaning 5-flavor berry. Omija grows along the Paektudaegan mountain range, the backbone of the Korean peninsula. It thrives in Korea's cool, humid mountain valleys at elevations above 500 meters, winding its way up shaded slopes with well-drained, gravelly soil. By late summer, the vines are heavy with clusters of deep red berries. The biggest producer is Mungyong in Gyeongsangbuk-do Province, home to nearly half of Korea's Omija growing area. The berries ripen gradually, so farmers harvest them in stages, picking only those that are ready. Day after day, the harvest piles up, baskets and boxes overflowing with brilliant red fruit. There are plenty of ways to enjoy Omija, but one of the most beloved is Omija Chung, made by preserving the berries in sugar. The cleaned berries are layered with sugar in large containers, and then the transformation begins. Slowly, the berries release their deep red color and rich flavor into the sugar, and it takes more than 100 days for the infusion to fully develop. The result is Omija Chung, a versatile Korean favorite. Add sparkling water and you have a refreshing Omija aid. Mix it with liquor and tonic water and you've got an elegant Omija highball. It can also be used as a marinade for meat or whisked into a bright, tangy salad dressing. From sweet drinks to savory dishes, the possibilities are endless. Discover the 5-flavor magic of Omija and taste just how versatile this little Korean berry can be.
And time for the latest in the world of K-sports. And for that, we once again invite our sportscaster Jason Lee into the studio. Welcome back, Jason.
Hello, hey.
Okay, Jason. So what sports stories have you been following in the past week or a couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, the PGA playoffs are now underway. So the top 70 golfers of the world into the latter portion of the season. And 3 Koreans did make the postseason. So I'll update you on how those 3 Koreans are doing so far in the playoff event. Also, another Korean has made a season debut in Major League Baseball. I'll tell you about this lesser-known Korean, as well as update you on what's going on with the other Koreans in MLB. Meanwhile, there's just 3 weeks remaining in the scheduled part of the KBO's regular season. There will be some makeup games later on, but still, I'll tell you about some of the storylines going on in the KBO as of late, and of course, a soccer update as well on Son Heung-min and other Korean players overseas.
Okay, so why don't we start in the order you introduced today's items. So let's start with golf. And could you first explain how the PGA playoffs work?
Yeah, this is somewhat newer. They haven't really had this, it's not a historic thing that's been going on for years. So it's known as the FedEx Cup, and it is a 3-event postseason series that starts with the St. Jude Championship, which just took place this past weekend. The top 70 golfers from the season qualify for that event, and then only the top 50 golfers qualify for the BMW Championship, which is coming up this weekend. And then after that, the top 30 players will advance to the Tour Championship, which carries with it, by the way, a $10 million prize for the winner. Contrary to how it may sound, there are still going to be some tournaments remaining on the calendar for 2026 after these playoffs, but this is clearly the event that everybody wants to win. $10 million as the top prize. It's the biggest purse of the year.
Wow. For sure. And so you did mention 3 Koreans made to the playoffs. So who are they and how did they do at the first tournament?
Yeah, so far so good with all 3 Koreans, to be honest. The 3 Koreans to make it into the playoffs were Kim Si-woo, Im Sung-jae, and Tom Kim. And all 3 did make the top 50 to qualify for the next round. And actually, all 3 finished within the top 12 places. So all are looking good. Let's start with Tom Kim, who, if you recall, he won the Scottish Open a month ago. He finished tied for 12th at 5 under after a final round 71. Im Sung-jae tied for 5th at 7 under. And, okay, honestly, he should have actually finished much better. He shot rounds of 66, 66, 67, and then a 74 on Sunday. So he could have easily finished at least in second place with just a decent round on Sunday. But speaking of second place, Kim Si-woo, the master of second place finishes this year, he actually did indeed finish in second with a 9 under total. He was consistent with rounds of 70, 68, 66 and 68 again. He was 8 strokes behind the eventual winner, Scottie Scheffler. Of course, he's been winning everything this year. But do note of the scores, they don't carry over to the playoffs. So each of the top 50, including those 3 Koreans, will have an equal chance of winning the big enchilada over the next 2 weeks. And I should mention once again, Kim Si-woo, second place finish once again. This is the 3rd time that he has finished second this season. He has had 11 top 10 finishes on the PGA Tour this season. That is second only to Scottie Scheffler, who of course is been winning everything on the season. And Kim Si-woo is currently ranked 4th. That is the highest rank among anybody who has not actually won a tournament this year. So a great season for Kim Si-woo still, and perhaps, you know, he can finish it off strong.
Let's hope so. I mean, it was very great to see these familiar faces over the weekend. But Jason, let's talk about someone who I haven't really seen on TV that much, because you mentioned earlier there is a lesser-known Korean who made a season debut in the Major League Baseball. So who is it and why is he not that known?
Yeah, he's played before, but this is his season debut for this season. And the guy that I'm talking about, I'm referring to Bae Ji-hwan. For those who are baseball fans, well, you know, you might have probably heard of him, know who he is, but you might have kind of forgotten about him because he's really been up and down from the minors to the majors over the last few seasons now. He was originally signed out of high school back in 2017. Originally, it was actually illegally done by the Braves, so they actually never got to keep him, but then he later joined the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he debuted for them back in 2022. But really hasn't been able to stick with a regular job with them. Bae Ji-hwan started this season in the minors again with the New York Mets affiliate, but he was eventually cut, and then he was signed by the first-place Milwaukee Brewers, who added him to their Major League roster immediately. He got into four games just recently with the Brewers, but he was recently designated for assignment, meaning that another team can pick him up off of waivers, or he'll have to return to the minor leagues. And he's not really a home run hitter per se. He does have a career batting average of .295 in the minors, and he's got 36 stolen bases in the minors this season. So he could be a guy that teams already maybe thinking about next year or the future could maybe take a chance on. And I think he's already shown plenty of potential. So now it's just a matter of him receiving a legitimate opportunity from a team that might be building for the future. I think he's 27 years old, so still has a lot of baseball left in him.
For sure. Please keep us updated with him. And speaking of Bae Ji-hwan, how are the other Koreans playing in the Major League Baseball doing?
Let's start off with someone that you guys have definitely never heard of. I didn't even know this guy's name before looking him up as to what's going on. And this is Shin Hee-ju of Cheongdam High School. So, who is he? Well, high school, what? He's another, or the latest, high schooler who is signing with, again, the Milwaukee Brewers. And he's probably actually in the Bae Ji-hwan mold of not really being a power hitter, but rather offering some speed and defensive versatility in terms of his upside. And he now joins Gwangju Jail pitcher Park Chan-min and Doksu infielder Om Jun-sung to sign with major league teams this year out of Korea. Korean high schools as they signed previously with Philadelphia and Arizona, respectively. And as for the major leaguers that we all know and love, Song Sung-moon continues to play as a super utility player with the San Diego Padres. He does have 12 stolen bases on the year, not bad, but not really much beyond that as of note. Lee Jung-hoo hit another home run last week, bringing his season total up to 9. He also does have 8 stolen bases while batting .292 now. So perhaps maybe a 10-10 season for Lee Jung-hoo, or who knows, if he can get on a hot streak for the rest of the month and a half, maybe a 15-15 season could be in store. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay, and now domestically, what's going on with the KBO? I mean, what I know is that they are continuing to break attendance record.
Yeah.
And I also know that one of my favorite teams is doing pretty well.
Indeed, you are correct in both of those cases. Yeah, they just recently reached 9 million total fans in just 505 games played total, which is their fastest pace yet. So it looks like they'll likely break their attendance record again for the 3rd straight year. But on the field, it's also been very entertaining. As you mentioned, it's been a 2-team race between KT and your Samsung Lions as well. They're tied with 62 wins apiece, but KT has actually played 2 games fewer, so they do hold a 1-win advantage. Meanwhile, LG is a distant 3rd place. They're 6.5 games behind Samsung, followed by Kia and Doosan, who are 6 games ahead of 6th place Hanwha for the final playoff spot. So obviously, a lot can change over the next month and a half or so of the regular season, but right now, it looks like those are going to be the 5 playoff teams that are going to make it to the postseason. But the race for 1st place between KT and Samsung, I think right now it's probably still a little bit too close to tell. I think either could get that bye all the way into the Korean series. We'll have to wait and see. As for the MVP race, Austin Dean continues to lead the way as he's in the top 5 of just about every major hitting stat other than stolen bases. But Kia's Kim Do-young is right there as well, as he leads the league with 35 home runs and is also up there in a lot of the offensive stats as well. I think it could be still close. I think Austin Dean is definitely in the lead, but I think Kim Do-young is within striking distance. And perhaps a dark horse in the MVP race could be Doosan pitcher Kwak Bin. He's leading the league in both ERA and strikeouts. He's still a couple of wins behind the leaders for the pitching Triple Crown, but he's certainly been the best pitcher so far this season. And it's been a while, I feel like, since we've had a Korean pitcher be the best pitcher in the KBO. So great season so far by Kwak Bin.
And I think I'm glad that the weather has cooled off a little bit because
yes.
lately it's been so hot that it was actually really difficult to be at the stadiums.
They were canceling games because of the heat. So yeah, absolutely. I'm sure the weather has been much nicer. As I've actually been looking up tickets these days to try to get out to a game with the family, but the weather is much nicer and certainly a lot of great baseball being played.
Yes, great news. Yeah.
So we've talked about golf, baseball, and let's end with soccer now. So what's the latest with Son Heung-min and other Korean soccer players playing overseas?
Well, of course, we remember that Son Heung-min was named the MVP of the All-Star game in the MLS, but he's continued to play well after scoring in 4 straight games. Unfortunately, that streak has come to an end as his team LAFC were shut out 1-0 at home on Saturday by San Diego. The loss snaps a 5-game unbeaten streak for LAFC, and it also drops them now into 3rd place in the Western Conference. Also, hey, big news of this one. Lee Gang-in is now on Atletico Madrid after a transfer reported to be in the 40 million euro range. Interestingly, though, his first game with Atletico was right here in Seoul because they had an exhibition game against Manchester City. That was actually scheduled months ago and just happened to work out that way. Maybe they deliberately went, we have to sign a Korean before we play that game in Korea. Man City would go on to win that game 3-1. But clearly the fans in attendance, hey, they got a great show, especially from Lee Gang-in, who made a lot of his signature long-distance passes right on the money giving some great opportunities to his teammates. And I think he really showed his potential as to what Atletico fans might now be able to expect out of him in the seasons to come, and especially starting this fall.
Right. I was very jealous of my friends who were at that game and
Really?
posting that on social media.
Yeah, would have been great. He's such a fun player to watch.
Right. So, Jason, from golf to baseball to soccer, thank you for all those updates, and looking forward to next time.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
And thank you, Bella, as always. We're going to have you here pretty soon.
Yes, I'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching and your interest in everything K-culture. Please tune in again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Korea time. Keep diving.